Are there any changes that you would be recommending to us today to address the concerns that were put forward by Councillor Penrose and Councillor Cooper? Could we improve on the recommendations that have been put forward by the Mayor and Councillor Wood to give sufficient scope to officers to report back?
Through the Chair, if it was the will of this committee, we could look at doing some, preparing some policy advice in terms of what the options might be to actually look at delivering further outcomes in terms of increased participation rates, if that was what was desired. Madam
Chair, I would welcome your guidance on this, or perhaps it's one that Sue could give us some wording on. It was certainly my expectation as Chair of Parks, along with the Deputy Chair, Callum Penrose, that in this report coming to this committee, that there would be a wider overview, so perhaps Sue, you could suggest to the mover and seconder an additional clause that would enable that work to be reported back.
So, Councillor, I think we're getting there. Councillor Penrose has suggested a B, and I'm just talking with Ms Tyndall. Request a report back to the Parks Committee, might be the best, as to the antisocial behaviour and safety concerns at swimming pools across the region.
Madam Chair, I sort of see this work as running concurrently with the sports facility, you know, the network program that we're doing, that we're looking at as an overview at all of these facilities that we've got. We're looking to make sure that we're optimising the use and that we are increasing the level of participation. So I'd like to see some common language being applied to this. So yes, that is one dimension, the antisocial dimension, but there is a broader imperative there on the work that Paul is doing with golf courses, with other sports facilities, and I would hope that we can see some consistency in the approach by Council in looking to optimise the facilities we have, and also to ensure that the highest level of participation that we can have of our public.
And I think that's, I mean, this is a financial report, which is why
I
I'm trying to...
I realise that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening to what people are saying, and between you and Councillor Penrose, I'm trying to flick it to
I understand.
your committee.
I understand, and I think
to deal with
if
that.
you can find some elegant expression there to reflect that, then I would be happy to support it.
I've got a couple more, so we'll work on that while I've got a couple more speakers. Councillor Casey.
No, mine's been asked, thanks.
Right, thank you. Councillor John Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. A few months ago, I got a phone call from the manager of the pool in Manukau, in Manurua, and he said, come down and talk to me. And the reason being is the kids weren't using the pools. They just weren't going. The lanes were empty on a Friday. So what I'm saying is, and the reason why is because the kids didn't have their parents, the parents were getting charged for, and the kids weren't coming. It makes sense. I mean, this started off as a great idea, but I mean, it hasn't worked in some aspects.
No, exactly.
We've got to change tact.
Exactly.
And the tact I'm suggesting to you today is that you put your money through FIFOD, because we're actually teaching kids to swim.
Absolutely.
750,000 swims we've done since the conception. There's 440,000 individual swims.
Yeah.
85 schools. And the buses pick them up and take them to the pool. So we know they're going, we know they're swimming. If they can save a life one day or save their own, and it works. So that's why I suggest we should be using some of the money, Mr Mayor.
Yeah.
So, Madam Chair, and that's where I was struggling, because it is a financial report, and I was trying to juggle, you know, where we slot this in here.
Right.
But, you know, Councillor Sir John is absolutely spot on the button there. But, you know, this was, and I hate to say this in a public arena, but, you know, we've just come through the thick end of some stuff that happened last weekend, and I'm trying to keep it positive.
Yep.
But, you know, we need to start dealing with it, and we're not dealing with it. And I want to put some time frames around it.
So we've added in wellbeing, and you can see it up there now. Does that cover what you're trying to get at, councillor Fletcher?
Yes, I think.
I mean, that gives you the ability, when it comes back, to sort of widen it if you want to, but it actually directs a report to your committee.
I think that is satisfactory, and I think if Paul requires some further work, it can actually be dealt with at
so,
the
I
Parks
mean-
Committee. Participation measures.
So it might be that you go to the Parks Committee to discuss it further.
So Madam Chair, maybe just participation, we could just perhaps, Sue, find some participation measures included in that would probably be sufficient in terms of scope.
And Madam Chair, maybe a C2, that we have a report back as to, what it's costing us for the 3 pools across the region.
Getting very complicated.
I
I
know.
think we can do that. I think we could do that at the Parks Committee.
Madam
but
Chair,
I
so
do have
if
to-
you have request a report back to the Parks, Sports and Recreation Committee on the participation measures and the antisocial
Okay, right.
behaviour safety,
Yeah, no, that's-
then I think it's adequate.
That's good.
Thank you.
Sometimes we can actually get it right by writing a recommendation by committee.
Yeah, it's good.
So
Yep.
can I just check with the mover and seconder
Yep,
that you're
yeah,
happy
that's
with
right.
that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Member Typery.
Kia ora, Madam Chair. I was out, so I may have missed these, the conversation, but I'll ask these questions. How can the policy be said to have provided equitable access for children across Auckland when the policy has caused a decline in use by Māori across the network?
Yeah, good question. And that's sort of what we're talking about
Yeah.
in this other report.
You're going to answer that specifically?
I'll have a go
Yes.
at it.
Yeah, I think.
This is a policy issue, Madam Chair, and I'd love to actually be present at the Parks Committee, considering I drove this policy through this council. It quite frankly has got to do with the fact that we always knew that this policy was only a halfway policy. And the local boards have picked it up. Councillor Cooper's acknowledged the fact that the local boards have decided to go into partnership in one part of our city. If the parents are not going to be there, the kids won't be there. You know, to some extent they get there, but and particularly where you see whānau responding by not turning up, so if mum and dad can't be there, they won't necessarily take the kids along. And and all due respect to Councillor John, the reason why FIFOD is actually doing well is because we have got free access for kids. And 750,000 free swimming lessons is free on the basis that the policy is in place that enables it. So, you know, we are going in the appropriate direction. There are issues to do with when there is overuse in a pool, there is a problem. But we always knew that was going to be a part of the discussion because we wanted them in the pools and not on the streets. So, but the real challenge is without the parents being there, and if pricing is a problem, they won't be there. That's my view, is part of the takeout of this discussion. Now, we're not going to nut it here, but it'll be a part of a discussion over the next year or so that will work out as to how we get very best participation for our kids and our families in our pools.
Okay, so we've had a fairly good discussion, and I think probably that could be what comes back with that to the parks.
Should be around
It may be
policy,
that. I would be remiss if I didn't say it would be great if we had a pool that
Yeah.
people could go free or otherwise. But never mind. It's been moved and seconded. I'm going to put it. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried.